This is the Dark Illumination Report for Sunday, August 30th, 2020. And on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the importance of defending your legal rights as a diabolist, as a Satanist, as a demonolator, or whatever your tradition happens to be.
This is the Dark Illumination Report podcast, the official podcast of Shadow Path Diabolism, your daily dose of Diabolonian philosophy to inspire you on your journey down the crooked shadow path. Here's your host, R.J. Womack, Brother Nero.
Hey everybody, this is R.J. Womack, aka Brother Nero, and of course this is the Dark Illumination Report podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about protecting your rights as a Satanist, as a diabolist, as a Shadow Path diabolist, as any kind of Diabolonian type philosophy, right? And the importance of protecting yourself. But before we get into that, I'm going to make a brief statement about some of the circumstances that have been going on. And it's not going to be much of a statement, but it is going to be a statement. Now, as I've always said on this podcast, one of the reasons why this tradition is being founded is because I want to get away from the drama so often associated with the left-hand path. One of the reasons why people have so little faith in their ministers today is because they see their ministers preaching one message and living another message, right? So what would it look like if I preach to you, do not engage in internet drama, do not engage in the same behavior as the left-hand path occultists do, and then I were to respond the same way they do? It would make me look like a hypocrite. It would make me look like I don't believe in the message I preach here. And how would you respect me as a minister if I did that? You wouldn't. So the only thing I'm going to say about the current circumstances that I'm having to deal with is I will make the appropriate statements in front of the judge. I will make the appropriate statements in front of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and I will take the appropriate actions that I need to take. Until that time, I will continue this podcast as I've always done. I will continue preaching the message that I've always preached, and I will continue to stand up for my fellow diabolists, my fellow believers in Satan. And when this legal matter is resolved, I will make an appropriate statement at that time. So I hope that helps everybody know where I stand. I hope that helps people understand my position. And until I can make an appropriate statement at an appropriate time, we will continue on with the podcast. Now, today's topic, I want to talk about it in a general sense. One of the things that you see happening in the community is you see these left-hand path occultists starting to use the legal system to try and control language. They the Church of Satan in particular tried to trademark the Baphomet, and the judge, as far as I remember, said to them, you need to go pound sand. You can't trademark a symbol as old as Baphomet. I believe they also may have tried to trademark the term Satanism, but I don't know that for sure, so don't quote me on that because I can't remember if they did or didn't. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did. And the reason there is no trademark on the word Satanism is because it's so old. It goes back to the 1560s, 1565, that nobody in their right mind would give somebody a trademark on the word Satanism. So too is it true of the term diabolist. The term diabolist goes back even further than the term Satanist or Satanism. It goes back almost 200 years further. Okay? So in terms of filing a trademark on a term like diabolist, you can file a trademark, and filing a trademark application is not the same as being granted a trademark. It has to undergo legal review, and it takes a while. And even if by some chance you were given a legal trademark based on filing for a trademark, it can always be disputed based on the fact that it is a common term that refers to a group of religious people, such as Buddhism, Christianity, etc., etc. You cannot trademark Christian. You cannot trademark the Bible. You cannot trademark certain things because they are general words in the English language. So even on some off chance that somebody were to be granted a trademark for something as general as diabolist, it can always be challenged. Now, I'm not bringing this up because of the current situation, although this current situation that I'm dealing with reminded me of this topic, and it is a good topic to discuss on this podcast. Because as I said, what a lot of left-hand path occultists are doing is they're starting to use the legal system to try and trademark all the terms that are associated with Satan, and they're trying to make it to where you can only use them in the context of atheistic, humanistic philosophy. And the reason they've been allowed to get away with this is because, unfortunately, those of us who worship the devil don't tend to fight back. We don't tend to challenge their claims. We don't tend to do anything. We tend to just sit back and take it. And anytime someone comes to us and threatens lawsuits, everybody just runs away and acts scared. But there's a legal process, and you have to be willing to fight for your rights. And I know part of the reason why most religious Satanists don't fight back is because most of them don't have the money, or they don't have the willingness to go through the court process or whatever. You cannot let these atheists control everything. They're trying to make it to where there's no place for people like us. There's no place for people like us where we have no freedom to express ourselves in our religious point of view. And it will not stop until those of us who worship Satan actually stand up for ourselves and say enough. And the way you do that is you fight back through the legal system. You do not engage in drama. You engage in the legal process, ladies and gentlemen.
If you would like to learn more about the Shadow Path Diabolism tradition of occultism, go to rjwomack.com. That's rjwomack.com. If you enjoyed this podcast and support our message, tell a friend, leave us a review, and follow us on social media.